entirely unexpected, but it will often have been built on many years of not knowing that it was going to happen. I think that was probably about 5 minutes.
That's great.
Yeah, okay. I don't, do I have to stand?
You don't have to.
I'm gonna get water now. I don't have a lot of numbers stored in my head. I'm going to try to actually not talk about numbers. I suppose, let's see. Oh, I'll start out with numbers, yeah. I think on a daily basis in the UK, we waste about 2.4 million tomatoes and 1.4 million bananas. Sausages factor in there. It's definitely, we waste a lot of sausages as well. So, yeah, and it's just interesting to think like those are, you know, carbon intensive, also typically flown in or shipped in from other countries. Bananas, I think, are particularly interesting. It's our island is obsessed with bananas. They come from afar, and we actually waste them quite a lot. It's probably one of the top 3 most wasted fruits, obviously after apples. We love apples. In my day job, I work for the Food Partnership on a Love Food Hate Waste campaign. The national campaign is just awash with numbers, awash with behavior change messages, practical tips, advice, cooking advice, recipes. And you know, and it's actually very, I mean, it's very important. There, you know, we need to have like that practical basis for actually shifting our behavior. For me personally, something had always been missing as, I guess, if you will, a food waste activist in the here in Brighton and Hove. And I think it was the positivity. You know, the Food Partnership also has other projects. For instance, a food growing project. And the way people's eyes light up, you know, when you start talking about food growing, and we're just so ready to muck in, you know, kind of get their hands dirty. And there's something productive about it. And I think, by the way, I should preface it by saying I've read the food sub-report of Zero Carbon Britain. And, you know, it does specify that waste reduction, while part of the picture, isn't going to make the biggest, you know, the biggest reduction when it comes to the carbon impact of our food. And you know, but I think I think it's actually one of the easiest places where we can start. You know, while it might be difficult to convince somebody to cut out meat or even cut it down, you know, reducing food waste is actually quite a bit more feasible and reachable, at least in the first instance. And it gives you a chance to practice behavior change, I suppose, as you try out other new things. But I'm gonna switch a little bit, and I think the thing with food waste, and I will talk about the Food Waste Collective in a moment, is that to get people really excited about it, you can't throw numbers at them. I mean, what does 2.4 million tomatoes really mean to any of us here, really, even? And I see lots of numbers there as well. But the thing is, a few people got together and they wanted to do something really positive around food waste. And that's basically, and we sort of didn't know where to start. So we just got people together, food activists, people involved in food poverty work. We invited counselors. We just got people together to talk about the issue of food waste and food poverty in the city. And that's where the Food Waste Collective was born. And the realization was that there were gaps that needed to be plugged. So there was quite a bit of food waste happening in the city. Fair Share, as a fantastic redistribution charity, could only capture so much, and it wasn't really capturing a lot of food that was going surplus locally. So this volunteer-led initiative kind of came together, focusing kind of primarily on redistributing surplus food, repacking it, and sharing it with the array of wonderful food charities in the city. So that was about almost 2 years ago. And what was amazing, though, is as soon as it started, hundreds of people piled in. It was incredible how many people were just really excited and positive with smiles on their faces. So here we are 2 years later. We have over 1,000 people in our Facebook group. We have hundreds and hundreds of volunteers just at the ready. And there's other surplus projects in the city, like the Sussex Cleaning Network, Real Junk Food Project, are experiencing the same thing. And so, yes, there's all these numbers, there's all the doom and gloom. But the thing is that actually, that it's the positivity that brings people together, and for the individual who wants to make a difference, it's the smile on your face as you're able to share food with someone else. And it's getting to know people, volunteers and staff at food poverty projects tackling food poverty and isolation, and that kind of real love and sense of community, and really connecting with one another, making friends with fellow volunteers. That's what's going to bring people together, not the numbers that I throw at people. I don't want to throw numbers at people anymore. I don't even want to use the word waste anymore, because it's actually about what we can do where failing that there will be waste, and failing that there will be disconnect and isolation. And so I think it's kind of interesting keeping this kind of stuff in the back of our minds while recognizing that that's not necessarily what people want, I guess, from us as activists. I think what people want is a chance to get together and really have fun. And just, well, I'll leave it on one last thing. It's that, we're talking about meat here. What's interesting is many of these projects, when you think about community food projects, the kind of food that happens there, like, imagine that as a recipe on paper. It sounds really like vegan-y, stewy, curry-ish, grainy, so like infinity, right? So you might not be, excited. No, to many of us it is. We live and breathe this. But imagine, for many people going home and doing that recipe might be a bit boring perhaps, but imagine you're coming together and you're eating it. People always love that food. So that delicious curry made from surplus produce, or, a public feast feeding hundreds, if not thousands of people. People love it, they're excited. And actually, there's something about that community element. Food just tastes better, even if it's like slap shot, everything but the kitchen sink, whatever surplus you're able to collect. It might not be the thing that you buy at the supermarket. It might not be something Jamie Oliver might whip up, but it will actually taste better because there's this other element, this sort of thing that, I guess it's like that love, perhaps? I don't know. Well, we're still trying to figure it out as volunteers, but there's some kind of a magic in there, and we never even have to bring the numbers into it. So that's where I'll leave it.
Okay, so it's me next. My name's Ian Davey. I'm a Green Party councillor. I've been a transport activist in this city for about 20 years. And got involved in politics because I kind of wanted to make a difference, really. I got fed up with campaigning for cycle lanes, so I thought I'd start build some. And I've got 10 slides, I've got 30 seconds each. So this is part of my vision for Brighton and Hove. It's, the inspiration is from Copenhagen, and I think it's an absolutely fantastic city, and which puts people at its heart. And I think if one goes to... Are these actually finished? Okay, I'll keep going back on. So the vision, I think, is there in much of Northern Europe. But these are very local. This is a picture from the Lewis Road, and I think this presents, exactly some of the challenges we've got in our city. We've got congestion problems, we've got air quality problems, road safety, we've got one of the worst road safety records in the whole of the country, but we've got a growing population, an incredibly popular city, and we've got no space. And everybody was an expert, that's the last one on there. I mean, everybody knows about transport. And what I realise, they're all experts and they're all right. But I realise it's all about space. It's about fair use of space. And some interesting stats from the Lewis Road there, but that was part of our arguments for transforming the Lewis Road. Actually, most people are using that road by bus. So actually what's happened on the Lewis Road is a reallocation of road space in a fair proportion to the people who are actually using it. And this is another example. This wasn't actually built by us, this was built by the Tories, even though they will deny it. That's the bus lane on the A259, and you can see exactly there, that much better use of space. And as a cyclist, I really hate buses actually, but I've now realised we need buses in this city. That's the only way we're going to get high volume mass transit. We can't all do it by bike. And this number 7, red buses are helping Brighton become a greener city. That's absolutely spot on. But a sustainable city is a walking city, and Brighton Hove has the great benefit of really being a walking city. This is a little picture from near Seven Dials, and these are some stats from the census in 2011. But yeah, I know there's a lot of numbers there, but basically they show that this city is bucking the trend nationally in walking to work, cycling to work, and car use and car ownership. One of the lowest car ownerships in the country, and the least car dependent city in the country. There's loads of reasons why that is, but basically I think it's because of the people who live here. This is another example of success. We've got the most popular car club outside of London. It all started here in Hanover about 12 or 13 years ago. We've now got 100 cars in the city, 3,000 members, and it's just a much better use of space. Yeah, so they say everyone takes 5 vehicles off the road. But yeah, it's a no-brainer. Yeah, there's like 90% of the time a car is parked in the street. Cycling, we've got a really strong cycling culture in this city, and loads of people want to cycle, and many people are, but many people think it's too dangerous. So our job is to make that possible. We've got our cycling superhighway on the seafront, and the first things we did was the Old Shore Road cycle lane, really high quality, good road space reallocation. It set a new standard for cycle infrastructure in this country. It's won loads of awards. Lewis Road, reallocation of road space. These bus, what are they called? Island bus stops really address that problem of cyclists and buses conflicting at bus stops. Again, set a new standard in this country and now being emulated in London. Transport for London used to show pictures of what these things would look like. As they come to Brighton, and we can show you actually what they are, because we were actually doing it. So what's next? I think public realm transformation is absolutely vital. We've got the Valley Gardens project, which will go from the level all the way down to the aquarium roundabout. It's a really exciting scheme. We've got £14 million to do that. There'll be cycling infrastructure going all the way down to the aquarium roundabout. Low emission zone just started. Vision Zero on road safety, but sharing I think is really important. Car sharing, ride sharing, bike sharing, and of course buses and taxis. And intelligent mobility apps are going to be at the heart of transport in the future. So I think the question is, what future do we want? There's some choices there really. Yeah, that's Wimble Street, I think, just up there. It used to be cars parked on either side. You couldn't walk on the pavements. So never mind play in the streets.